So we often say Nigeria has brilliant engineers, some of world-class economists. You're thinking of some of the best and top-performing surgeons in the world. And let me also add policy documents that gather dust on the shelves of MDAs in Nigeria. Yes, but despite all of that, power is unstable, roads fall apart, just constant pressure from rain. Roads fall apart, public schools are struggling, teachers, students, infrastructure. It's a struggle, and we have some of the best resource to be able to deliver. Then it begs the question of why, how. All of the WH questions you could think of would begin to flash through your minds, and I think I probably would stumble on. I have a theory as a fact that development is not it's not a technical problem. Development is it's a political problem. Development is political. It's not a technical problem. It's more the political side of things. Hi, my name is Ajibola Oladiipo, and it's such an honor, such a beautiful time, and privilege to have you on another edition or another episode on Diary of a Patriot. And today we'll be talking about the political side of development, the political dynamics of development as against the technicalities. The truth of the matter is that technical solutions are everywhere. You know, anywhere you think, particularly when you're in the midst of very smart, sound people, people that are the very best in their fields. I can start naming names. When you think of these people, they're some of the finest. So when you have those kind of people, you'd actually have technical solution. All problems you don't think of, you can name it. In fact, we've seen a lot of people come out and say, "Oh, this is the problem that Nigeria is facing, this and this and this," and then they're elected, and then we are not seeing commensurate results or tangible results, or what the kind of results we are having is not matching what they projected, and you begin to wonder how. The truth of the matter is, if you go by the books, we know how to generate electricity, we know how to build roads, like durable standard roads. We know how to fix our schools. We don't just know how to fix the schools, we know how to run the schools. But these things don't run at a scale because it requires more than the technical know-how and knowledge of how to get it done. It requires political will. In fact, many times when you have projects to fly, the first thing investors are talking about, or people in the private sector or development side of things are asking about, is the political will to drive that initiative, because that's probably the most expensive and important currency in whatever project or initiative you're trying to drive. The commitment to prioritize public interests over private gain, to enforce rules, to sustain a reform beyond just a press release. It's a lot, particularly when you think of the opportunity cost politically. Personally, I've come to realize that political will is not necessarily about ambition. It is one born out of courage. The courage to say no to things that you shouldn't say no to. It takes political will to say no to inflated public government contracts. It takes a very strong political will to say no to over bloated workforce. Do you understand? In the public sector, it takes a lot of political will to actually say no to actually abandoning projects and sites. It takes a lot of political will to say no to ghost workers. Yes, you can see how strange it is. It takes political will to say no to corruption. And the truth is, without political will, even the best of blueprints will fail. it will fail. No matter how sound the plan or blueprint is, it's actually going to fail. And that's why important political will is. I have a couple of case studies that I'll point out. Let's look at the power sector reform. As a country, we spent about, if not close to, more than $20 billion on trying to fix the power sector. We've tried to privatize, we've tried to restructure, we've thrown in a lot of technical consultants to try and fix it. But in reality, we still struggle with 5,000 megawatts on the average. Why? The politics of subsidy in electricity. There is corruption in what's it called? Things that have to do with meters, metering. Poor regulation, sabotage. The entire power sector is just an interesting one. The engineers have done their part. They really have. The politicians have not. When you look at road construction, every year you would see rehabilitation. Why are you always rehabilitating a road? Why can't we have durable roads? Why should we factor in rehabilitation? Why should we award a contract without proper oversight? Why should we award contracts to different contractors, like a specific contract to different contractors at different points in time? That gives room for corruption. We just find a way to always spend on frivolities. We know how to fix roads. Engineers, we have solid structural and civil engineers that know how to construct roads. So, again, the stagnation, the issues are from politicians. Look at the education sector. Look at the last 5 years. Look at what JAMB results have been like. Let's look at the sector, look at infrastructural deficits, look at how things are driven. It's by and large the fault of politicians. And this is what I mean. Look at the line item in the budget for classrooms, for teacher training, for ICT labs. Where are the funds going? Who are those teaching them? What are the quality of people we're churning out? How are we providing oversight on these children? Politicians definitely have their part to play in all of this. And again, I'm not excusing the poor performance of children, but then I'm trying to let us see how political will can reinvent that can literally change the dynamics of things and reinvent the wheel for us. See, enough of outsourcing, and this is it, enough of outsourcing, how we do things to technical consultants and all. Real power lies in our policy coordination. It lies in how politicians get things done. It lies in the budget. If there's no budget to even fund it, it's dead on arrival. Enough of looking for technical saviors. We need to look on the political side of things. We need to look at those driving the policies. We need to look at how they are driving it. We need to look at what they are actually funding and ensure that they are doing what is right by this country. So, if you're young, you're smart, and you're angry about the state of things, channel your anger the right way. You might actually begin to start thinking of running for office. Start thinking of running. It might be you being councillor. Just start thinking of, and if you don't want to run for office, try thinking of how you can solve problems, how you can contribute to solving problems. Let's find a way to solve problems. Let's find a way to fix these issues and move forward. We need to press for progress. We need a generation that sees governance, that sees it as service and not status. And for us to be able to do that, we must begin to see that our development in itself has a whole lot to do with politics. You can't divide it. You can't make so much progress. You can have the best of ideas, if the policy and all of that is just going to fail. The best of innovations will fall flat. So, dear friends, this is my call to you to take politics serious, to take and see how it affects development, and more importantly, how it touches your life, how it determines how much is spent on social amenities that actually serves your interest. I hope you learned something. I'll see you some other time. Bye.